So today I want to show you some bands which you must know when you are using an EQ. The way it is with an EQ, most of us just think of we get an EQ, add it on the sound, we have cleaned the sound is playing well. But sometimes what we don't think of is that we make those sounds to be clicking when playing. If you are paying much attention when you are doing that, you are able to hear that when you EQ certain sounds, you are able to hear that this sound has been like chopped, to say so. So when you're using this EQ, you need to know which band you are supposed to use on that sound or on which sound. So when you just right click here, there are some bands here. You select this one. So forget about these numbers, because when I'm mixing myself, I don't follow these numbers. I use my ears. So I'll just select this to show you. When I select it, so you can see when I drag it here. Have you seen the way this is here? The way it does cut here. The way this EQ works, if you have done like this, some other sound when you are mixing, when you do this, they'll just play well. But some other sound, they'll be clicking when playing. If you pay attention to that sound, you're able to hear it. So what it does when you do like this here, let me just show you on this drawing which I've done here. So as you can see here, this is the audio or the waves of the audio. So that band which I've selected, let's say I want to remove this frequency. What it will do, it will just come, let's say I want to remove this one. It will just draw a straight line like this. Then here it goes like this. So what it has done here, it has just removed this frequency which are this side. Then this frequency, immediately they come here, they are blocked here. So some other frequency you can't hear the click here. Some other frequency you'll be able to hear the click. So when you do this here, so as the sound wants to play this side, it can't play, to be blocked by this EQ, the way it is here. So to be chopped here. So some other EQ bands, let me show you this one. So let me go to the EQ and explain another band. So some other bands, when you come here, there is here it is then band 1 type low shelf. You can read from the int panel here. So there are two options here. There's this one, when you put it here, it said band 1 type low shelf. Then when you drag it here, it says band 1 order 2. When I put the mouse here, it's like an arrow pointing up and down. So when you left click and drag up here, it is creating some boxes here. So when it does so, if you drag it down, it will do the same thing here. So at the default, there's only one box here. Then with this one on top, which is then band 1 type shelf, when you drag it down, have you seen what the EQ is doing? Have you seen what the EQ has done? It has created a band here, which is this one here. So when you do like this here, what you have done, let me go on the drawing and explain. So here you have created an EQ which is like this here. Then it goes this side here. So these frequencies which are here, you have removed them. Then these frequencies which are here, if they want to play this side, they will be smoothly cut here. So it's like a fader here. You won't be able to hear that click at the EQ here where you have removed some frequency. It's like you have done the fade out here. So with this band, again, it depends with the sound which you are using this band. Some other sound, if you use this one, they will sound as if you haven't EQ'd them. Some other sound, they will sound very well with this type of a band. That's why mixing is all about what you are hearing. It's not about what I did yesterday is what I'm supposed to do. It's all about what you hear. That's what we're going to do. So that's what this band does here. Back on the EQ here, with this one here, which is then band 1 order 2. So if you want to make this EQ to change its shape, I put the mouse here, I drag it a bit up. You have seen that the curve here has gone a bit inside. If I drag it again up, you have seen it has changed again up. You have seen, so this is the last one. You have seen that this band again, it goes with the sound you are using this band. Some other sound, it will sound well. Some other sound, it won't sound well. So this one, it is fading out quickly. So some other frequency, they will sound good. Some other frequency will be able to hear that this sound doesn't sound good with this band. So you can change it and put it at the band which that sound wants this band to have. So these bands, we don't just use them anyhow to say, I've used this so much, let me use the other one. It's all about knowing sound. As you'll be mixing your sound, you'll be able to identify that this sound needs that band. This sound, the way it is playing, needs that. This sound, I need to use that band. So that's the way it is with mixing. It's not something which you can write down and say, I'll be just doing this. It's not like that. Like I've said, it's all about what you hear. That's what we are going to do. Because for you to add an EQ to the sound, you know the reason why you are doing an EQ. You don't just do things for the sake of you saw someone doing it, you also want to do it. If you can't hear it, leave it. If you hear it, doesn't sound good, you EQ it. If you EQ it again, doesn't sound good, you don't EQ it much. Just EQ it a bit until it sounds the way you want it to sound.